Well, good morning. My name's Jennifer Crowley, and I am co-author of the Life Care Management Handbook and founder of the Life Care Management Institute. This week, we are celebrating our brand new book featuring some of our guest contributors of the Life Care Management Handbook. Great things happen through collaboration, teamwork, and learning from each other. Today, we are honored to have Crystal Littlejohn with Geriatric Resources and Thoughtful Engagement with us. Crystal is founder and geriatric care manager for Geriatric Resources, a care management firm which assists seniors and their families to identify needs, locate appropriate services, and hire and monitor necessary services to keep the senior in their preferred environment safely. Crystal has made it her mission to provide compassionate, personalized, and diversified care to the clients and extended family that her business services. She developed Thoughtful Engagement, a business-to-business services provider which assists small to medium-sized businesses diversify their offerings and improve their bottom line. Hello, Crystal.
Well, good morning, Jennifer and Shauna. It's so good to be with you.
Morning, Crystal.
And congratulations on your book, ladies.
Thank you so much. So your business, Geriatric Resources, is in Arizona. You have a team to help carry out your mission and provide professional services. Did you always have other professionals working with you in your company?
So no, the answer is no. When I originally started the business in 2009, I was a sole proprietor. And quite frankly, like most of us, when you embark upon a new business, there was a certain amount of imposters syndrome where you think, what am I thinking? Why do I think I can do this? And so I started out the business very organically, meaning going to those individuals who I already knew, who understood the value of my work. And then my circle sort of grew out from there. The one thing that I think that I would say to someone if they were starting a new company is don't wait too long to get administrative support, because once you get what you wish for and all of those referrals start to come in, you strike that delicate balance of, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to do the work and to try to take in more work. And so that consideration is diminished by having that great girl Friday or boy Friday working with you that can help you through that transition. We grew very organically, and it seemed that year after year, we had the opportunity to bring on additional folks, both to do the care management work and to support that care management work in the office setting. So it's one of those things that we all have to start our businesses thinking it's going to be a big business. Right from the start, I had my own personnel file, and for everybody who came after that, I was ready to grow, because I think what happens to most businesses is that they start out as a small business, and then their infrastructure isn't prepared to handle the growth that comes after that. And so I always told myself, this is a big business. I treated it as the biggest little small business. And I think that helped with the transitions that occurred, including hiring folks that came on after. Right now, we have a total of 8 employees, including myself.
That's great advice, Crystal. And yeah, I think that's really good advice, because so many people, like you said, once they get so busy, then they're kind of in their own circle of, they can't get out of that mindset because they're so bogged down with clients in order to scale. So that's great advice to have that infrastructure in place.
And I think that's where service failures happen, when your infrastructure isn't significant enough to handle the growth that really truly comes as a result of doing good work. So if we plan in advance and say to ourselves, I'm going to prepare myself before I need it, it seems to help you to keep that quality of service up throughout the growth process.
And how do you feel, or what do you feel are the unique challenges to operating a care management practice in Arizona?
So that's a great question. I've only operated in Arizona, so I don't have a great frame of reference for what it may be like to operate somewhere else. But I think the key things that come to mind is what every care manager across the country is probably experiencing, and that is that the majority of the population still does not know what we do. So educating people one by one in a way that they can understand, I think is going to make a difference in wherever you do business. For example, I was listening to Chris Williams yesterday from Wide Awake Business in your interview with her, and she hit on something that has always been very important to me in my business, and that is that when I'm introducing people to our services, I have to do so in a way that helps them understand how we could be value added to them. For example, if I'm speaking in front of a financial advisor and that financial advisor has no idea what I do, then I have an obligation um, to educate them in a way that meets with their needs. So, for example, you've got that client who's been coming in, who has been very on top of their finances and their investing and has been well put together during every visit and has made all of their appointments for 20 years. And then suddenly you have a situation that arises where this individual is missing appointments, arriving unkempt or unprepared. There is an indicator there that that client is experiencing some difficulties and might need help, despite the fact that their circle of influence or their family members may live states away, thousands of miles away. So this financial advisor can be the hero by reaching out to that client and family saying, I think at this point you could use an advocate. Now, we're not going to be responsible for the financial aspect of things, but what we can do is build a world around that individual that speaks to the areas that they're having difficulty. We're sort of the quarterback, if you will. And so we have to explain to each individual we encounter how we can be the quarterback for them and for their clients. And I think it's vitally important.
I love that analogy of the quarterback or building that world of support around that individual.
Right.
So, Crystal, you offer a customized engagement platform. It's a special program to address the needs of older adults, including isolation, loneliness, and boredom. Before we get to talking about your special program, I want to just ask you a question about whether you feel there are a large percentage of older adults who are lonely.
Well, there is no doubt that there are a large number of seniors that are suffering isolation, loneliness, and boredom that really pre-existed this pandemic. We have people that we have assisted over the years who have become isolated by having to stop driving. They can no longer get to where they need to get, or hearing difficulties, mobility difficulties, sight difficulties, the fact that they're having people who are important foundationally to their lives that have passed away, husbands, wives, friends. And so the process often happens slowly enough that you don't necessarily see the impact of it until it starts to manifest itself for that particular person in changes in their physical appearance, or changes in how they engage with the rest of the world, or changes in how they keep appointments. Even something as simple as your mom usually calls you, every Sunday, and suddenly those calls aren't coming anymore. And, I use the analogy for people that as we age, we lower our expectations of what can be accomplished or what can be expected. So what I mean by that is there are individuals who become complacent with just being warm, dry, and fed, that they're no longer looking at excitement, engagement, um, participating in things that bring them joy. They're just satisfied another day I haven't broken my hip, or, today's a day without a doctor's appointment. I think for any of us, if we knew that our loved ones had become complacent in just those expectations, it would break our hearts. And that's what we see from clients that we encounter day in and day out. And I think it's important that the pandemic is even exacerbated that problem, right? There are people who are already isolated, who now, those few neighbors that used to come by and visit and deliver a meal or take them, out shopping or those kinds of things, are now fearful of becoming ill themselves. So the very few people that remain in that informal support system have also backed away. So that problem that was already tremendous is exacerbated tenfold.
Right. So your customized engagement platform is called Thoughtful Engagement, which you write about in our book. But what can you tell us about thoughtful engagement?
So first of all, I want to tell you that this program feeds my soul. So in late 2018, I was starting to see a pattern of going to see people in our care management practice for the purpose of complimentary consultation. They had been referred to us, and obviously individuals felt that they needed care management. But as I sat and engaged with each of these wonderful people, it became evident that they did not need necessarily care management at this time. They didn't need many of the services that we would normally refer them to, but there was a clear indication that they were lonely, that 20-minute consultation turns into an hour of rich and textured life stories and losses, loss of husbands, loss of wives, loss of social connectedness. And I was hearing time and time again, my husband and I love preseason baseball. We attended every game for whatever team it was that they loved, or we used to go to the theater, or we enjoyed walks. And the grief of that loss was palpable. So I sat down with a then employee of mine who was working as a care manager, who wasn't having the greatest amount of success as a care manager, but who was so value added as a person. And I realized her skill set was just the skill set that I needed to help put together a program that met the needs of these lonely, isolated, bored, depressed individuals. So over the next 4 months, she and I sat down and created Thoughtful Engagement, which is, and I don't use the term activities program very intentionally, because an activities program brings things that you hope someone will enjoy to people who may or may not enjoy them, right? So thoughtful engagement takes the life story, the life history, the loves of these people, and creates a program that helps to replicate their joys in life in the best way that we can. And let me give you a couple of examples. We have a gentleman who is part of our program. He gladly lets me utilize his name in his story. His name is Frank. And Frank has been on a horse since he was 5 years old. He grew up in Ahwatukee, Arizona. He is someone who is highly intellectual, who is very proud of his education, his time of service in the Marine Corps, and the fact that he was a DJ for many, many years as a side hobby. So we took those beautiful grains of his humanity and created a program for him. So at least once a week, Frank is going trail riding with our thoughtful engagement specialist. We found the perfect place with the perfect trail ride. There are wranglers with them, so it's in a supervised setting. So as despite his dementia, he can feel free to get on the back of that horse and feel the joy, that he felt since he was 5 years old. We were also able to arrange for him to go to a local radio station that played classic rock, which is his music of love. It's his love language. And they were able to sit down with him and talk to him about how it is to DJ now. He was able to do the call letters for their station. We are looking at those grains of that person and really making them into a meaningful, joyful person that helps that person rise above warm, dry, and fed. And we're doing that every single day.
Oh, I'm just blown away by that. I really am. I love what you said, love language, the grains of the person. So important.
It is. It is. And, we get a secondary joy of fulfilling these joys for our clients. We had one wonderful woman who was the keeper of birthdays for her family. Her job throughout her kids and grandkids and great grandkids' life was to recognize everybody's birthday, send them a card, call on their birthday. And so we were able to reach out to the family members and say, we need a picture of you when you were young and now, and we need your birthday and a few facts that your mom, who now has dementia, could be cued by, right? So we created this calendar, and every single month we make cards for everybody whose birthday's in that month. Now, we do have to give her some verbal cues, especially as to her grandchildren and great grandchildren. Remember, this is Joe's daughter who does ballet or that kind of thing. But we then, using scrapbooking materials that are hers, we sit down and we create these individualized cards and we help her mail them out. So we have brought back that joy for her and that oh so important role that she played for her family. So there's a secondary gain. And then the tertiary gain back to the client is that when they get the card, what do? They call her and they say, I received your beautiful card. And she feels elated that she was able to do something quality to affect her family in a way that's always been very important to her. So that is the difference, the essence, if you will, between thoughtful engagement and just simple activities. Now, there's a place for activities as well, and I don't want to minimize the importance of the wonderful professionals out there doing activities, but this program is different, and I just want to highlight why that is.
Yeah. Well, it's really important for care managers to walk alongside someone's life, and we get so sometimes involved in trying to help with the medical management piece, or helping them navigate the daily tasks, the activities of daily living or their doctor's appointments, that we sometimes overlook it. But I would say most experienced care managers now can really look at how can I really add value that's really person-centered and is going to bring like a real in-depth meaning to this person's life. We're often having to walk with them during some type of illness that's gotten worse, or like you said, they've had loss or they're lonely. Anyway, it's just amazing, Crystal. It does seem more important for care managers to be diversified or have more than one income stream. And your thoughtful engagement program is offered as a business in a box to other professionals. And whether or not this is an income stream or something that they, again, want to add value to their own practice, it's important to talk about. What would this look like if someone were to want to purchase this program for their own use?
That is an absolutely terrific question. So we had so much incredible success in our first year of offering thoughtful engagement for our clients that I thought, why should others have to recreate this wheel? Why couldn't we, now that we've established really every part of running this thoughtful engagement business, why couldn't we then offer it to other care management firms across the country so that they can diversify their business? But even more importantly, they could meet another need that our clients have. I mean, we are advocates for seniors, and we are advocates for the whole person of seniors. And we do tremendous things in our jobs every day to enhance the quality of life for our clients. And this is another value added way to accomplish that. Most of the people who have purchased thoughtful engagement thus far have done so in order to first serve their existing clients who they know are needy or I can't think of the right word that I'm looking for, but are longing for a way to attach in a different way that speaks to who they are as one individual person, you know? So what an individual can do if they'd like to purchase thoughtful engagement is simply reach out to us. And what this would look like is we give you everything from the documents to sign someone on, uh, activities that you may engage in with your clients, a social history and interest profile that helps you really dig deep into what makes that person happy. Because what we find is people have forgotten not only to expect joy for themselves, but they've even forgotten what brings them joy. Sometimes it's a series of open-ended questions that really get us to the heart of what makes them happy because they haven't thought about it in so long.
Yeah.
So we give them that. We give them interview questions for hiring the right person as the thoughtful engagement specialist. We give them an ad. We give them all the consent forms that are needed, a PowerPoint presentation to present to professionals, and the list goes on. So that's really how it works. So there are two ways that a person can decide to have thoughtful engagement. They can have this business in a box, if you will, on its own, or we also offer support, which would mean monthly coaching calls with the thoughtful engagement specialist to help them sort of talk through, I've got this client who has these wonderful attributes and these wonderful things that bring them joy, but I'm having difficulty translating that into a program. So myself and Holly Bean, who is a professor out at the University of Southern Maine, who partners with me to make sure that this whole program is based on evidence-based science, are able to sit down with them and talk through, how do we get through to this individual? How do we put a program around them that meets their innermost needs? How do we get the information out to them? How do we improve their desire for participation so they can either have the program with or without support?
Yeah, I love that, Crystal. So I don't only just love the program, but I love that you had the guts to go out there and start it in your own business and then recognize how many more people you could help by offering it to other care managers and not just keeping it small within your business. That takes a lot of guts, as well as just being able to see the big picture and how many people this is really going to help. I just love the program, and I think of times in my life with kids or family, or you get bogged down and you're not doing the things that you really that bring you joy, and what that must feel like when you get older, and there's not kind of an end to that tunnel till someone like you or someone that signs on to your program brings that to them. So I just love it, and I'm excited to watch that program grow and see how many people it's going to affect. So do you have any advice for care managers out there, or someone interested in the field of care management?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the most important thing, if someone has the heart for this work, don't let the fact that I've never done it before get in your way. I mean, your handbook, I think, is going to change lives so incredibly because it really is a book that lays out to someone who has the heart for the work, who has the compassion for the work, to really set forth a series of steps to be able to make it successful. So the first thing I would say is don't forget that you too can do this. Make sure that you have a business mentor. I think that there is such significant value in having somebody who can take, the 30,000-foot view of your business and to help you make choices and overcome objections, or we're all going to have things that stand in the way of the path of least resistance. But if you partner yourself together with others who do the work, with a business mentor, and you start out with a great handbook like yours, I think the opportunities for success are limitless, absolutely limitless.
Thanks, Crystal. And so you're so busy with, you have your care management business and now the thoughtful engagement, and you're bringing joy to other people. But how do you find time, or what kind of things you do that kind of outside of your business? How do I want to say, how do you take care of yourself when running a busy practice and business?
That is a great question. And I have to say, with all honesty, that I've only gotten good at this within the last couple of years. And I have to tell you, my mentors at Wide Awake Business are a large part of why I realized the importance of making sure my tank was full. And so my husband, also Craig Littlejohn, is also the individual who makes sure that we get in that motorhome and we take a road trip and we spend 2 or 3 days, typically here in Arizona, seeing the state, enjoying each other's time, unplugging. And I have to say, when I started in this business, I was a workaholic. I truly have been throughout my healthcare career. And I thought that that was something to be admired, if you can believe it. But as I get older and as I leave it all on the court for my staff, for my clients, for my professional referral sources, for my family, it just becomes even more vital to me that I be present for them. And in order to be present for them, I really have to look at ways in which I can unplug and recharge. And the motorhome has really become my refuge, my place that I can reconnect with my husband, that I can take walks and do nothing, or read a book, or watch a funny movie each night and enjoy a glass of wine. And now I've made that a really routine part of my life. And thanks to my husband, when I start to fall back into old habits, there's a gentle nudge with an email or a text message that says, put this date on your calendar. I've made arrangements. So God blessed him for that. But thank you for that question, because I think we as business owners and people who have more than one business, as I'm sure both of you understand, have to take time to recharge. Yeah. It's not optional.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Great advice. Well, thank you for your wisdom and taking time to speak with us today. And so how can anyone that is interested to get in touch with you or learn more about Geriatric Resources and thoughtful engagement?
Sure. So we have websites for both. The Geriatric Resources website is Geriatric Resources, AZ as in Arizona.com. And our thoughtful engagement website is thoughtfulengagement.org. You can reach us for both at area code 623-776-3098. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about our business offerings. You know, I'm very proud of the organization that we've built here. You know, our values of family, honesty, integrity are alive and well every single day in our business. I employ the most amazing group of women, and not to exclude men, we just don't happen to have any at this moment. But we employ the most amazing group of women that I am so proud to serve alongside. And we're happy to share with you what we do. And to both of you, Jennifer, Shauna, you've done a really remarkable thing here by offering this roadmap, if you will, to other people who would like to do this really meaningful work. And to both of you who are already very busy people, I thank you on behalf of our profession. You've done something really important.
Oh, gosh, thank you. And we're proud of you, Crystal, and your whole team. I'm just blown away. It's been amazing talking with you. And if anyone wants to learn more about or read Crystal's input in our book, she's got a lot of content in here. And you can go to lcmexpert.com to purchase the book. But I wish you well, and you have a marvelous rest of your day, and we'll hope to catch up with you soon. Thanks for your kind words and your time.
You're welcome. Thank you both.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you.